الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
History of the entry of Islam into England. The development of Islam in various parts of the world does have its own history, including England. The country of Queen Elizabeth is indeed dominated by Christianity, but the Muslim community has begun to grow over time. The election of Sadiq Khan as Mayor of London is proof that Islam is accepted in England. Even before him, many Muslim politicians have been active in British politics. Reported from Britannica, of the total population of England, 59% are Christians and around 4.4% are Muslims. So where did Islam come from in England? Quoting R. Repository, emy.ac.id, the entry of Islam into England is estimated to be around the end of the 18th century AD, in the beginning of the 19th century AD. They were brought by immigrants from South Asia, such as Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India. These Muslim immigrants are the largest community in England. In fact, their number reaches the third largest in Europe after France and Germany. Immigrants began coming to England since World War II. Then other Muslim communities came from various regions, including parts of Africa, Cyprus, Malaysia, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe, especially Bosnia. And some have settled in England. Before the economic crisis of the 1970s, Islamic identity in Britain had existed in social and political life. Mosques were also found in several ports of Wales since the 1930s, with the support of the colonial government. The mosques were established by Yemeni sailors who settled there. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, the Muslim community found it difficult to consume halal food because at that time there were still very few restaurants that provided halal food. Therefore, in 1998, Al Halal supermarket was built by Sher Azam, a Muslim businessman in Bradford. This large supermarket, whose employees and cashiers wear the hijab, was built as an Islamic cooperative in 1985. The development of Islamization in Britain, especially in the City of London, has indeed reached its highest level. With hundreds of Sharia courts officially operating in London, there are at least 423 new mosques built in London. Even 17% of old Christian churches have been converted into mosques. One of them is the church owned by the Gatestone Institute, Hayat United Church, which was bought by the Muslim community from Egypt to be used as a mosque. The growth of Islam in the UK has begun to grow rapidly in the last decade. Considering that in 1991, there were only 950,000, but as of 2016, Muslims in the UK have reached 3 million. In addition, many citizens also converted. Most of those who converted to Islam were women. The largest percentage of Muslims are in the capital city of London. The largest Muslim community lives in East London, reaching 45.6%. Islam in Britain, the most Islamic environment in Europe? Islam first entered England in the 18th century. The entry of Islam into England was thanks to a sailor recruited from the Indian continent, more precisely the Bengal region. He worked for the British East India Company. Michael Herbert Fisher, in his journal entitled Counterflows to Colonialism, explains, the first early Muslim communities were found in many port cities. This is because the spreaders of Islam in England were sailors. One of the most famous early Asian Muslim immigrants was the Bengali Sakhdin Muhammad. He was a captain of the British East India Company who in 1810 established the first Indian restaurant in London. He is also credited with introducing shampoo and massage therapy to England. Islam in the UK is the largest non-Christian religion. It is predominantly made up of immigrants from South Asia, particularly Bangladesh, Pakistan, and India, or descendants of immigrants from that region. There are also other communities from the Middle East, Afghanistan, Malaysia, and Somalia, and small numbers from African countries such as Nigeria, Uganda, and Sierra Leone. According to the 2011 National Census, there were 2.7 million Muslims living in England and Wales, up almost 1 million from the previous census. 5% of these were adults, while 9.1% were children under the age of 5. The majority of Muslims live in Bradford, Luton, Blackburn, Birmingham, London, and Dewsbury. In addition, Muslim populations can also be found in High Wycombe, Slough, Leicester, Derby, Manchester, Liverpool, and the factory towns of northern England. In general, Muslims in the UK enjoy freedom to practice their religion. Muslim scholar Maulana Syed Ali Raza Rizvi argues that Muslims in the UK are freer to practice their faith. This is when compared to other European countries and not a few Islamic countries. London is more Islamic than many Muslim countries in general. Rizvi said at an interfaith forum in London, as reported by telegraph.co.uk, as quoted from the Republica Daily Archives. The event was also attended by Cardinal Vincent Nichols, leader of the Roman Catholic Church in England and Wales, and Chief Rabbi Ephraim Mervis. He explained that England is considered more Islamic than other countries because of the freedom to worship and multiculturalism. In England, Islam can be concluded as love and justice. All countries in the world should also implement this. However, the political leadership of Islam throughout the world has failed to encourage this. Maulana Rizvi said that unlike Jews and Christians, Muslims in Britain are a new community. However, there are many communities living together in peace and harmony, giving respect to others and loving others, and that is what Islam is. He added that living in Britain will make Islamic values come alive. The right to freedom of religion in the UK is regulated by 3 constituent legal systems, namely national law, European law, and international law. The European Convention on Human Rights, ECHR, guarantees freedom of religion under Article 9. It reads, namely, the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change one's religion or belief in freedom, either alone or in community with others, and in public or private, to manifest one's religion or belief in worship, teaching, practice, and observance. Another article reads, freedom to manifest one's religion or beliefs shall be subject only to such limitations as are determined by law and are necessary in a democratic society in the interests of public security, the protection of public order, health or morals, or the protection of the rights and freedoms of others. However, it cannot be denied that in the midst of the onslaught of Islamophobia that has hit most of Europe, the Muslim community has not escaped being the target of those who hate Islam and Muslims. A 2015 survey found that 60% of British Muslims often experience discrimination or pressure when practicing their religion. This figure is up 40% from a survey conducted in 2010. The majority of British Muslims said the discrimination they experience is driven by politicians and unbalanced media coverage. Muslims involved in the survey by the Islamic Human Rights Commission, IHRC, said Muslims suffer physical and verbal abuse and discrimination in the workplace. The study was based on interviews with 1,780 people with the same questions as the 2010 survey. The Development of Islam in England, Islam Digest of Republica Daily, September 10, 2017, published an interesting article written by Ratna Ayeng Tegumukti entitled Islam Grows Rapidly in England. The article presents a lot of data, facts, news, and very important information about the phenomenon of the very rapid growth and development of Islam in England today. In fact, the phenomenon of rapid growth and development of Islam is not only happening in England, but also in European countries in general. It is true that in England, there is a flow of growth and development of Islam that is much faster than the growth and development of Islam in other European countries. It is necessary to trace the origin of its history Why is Islam so closely related to the lives of scholars, scientists, society, and the British government compared to other European countries? Historical factors. In his book entitled World of Islam Festival in Historical Perspective, Muhammad Nasser, founder and leader of the Indonesian Islamic Propagation Council and international Muslim figure, mentions several factors that caused England's closeness to Islam, including one, most of the Islamic centers and Islamic organizations scattered throughout Western Europe are centered in the City of London in a coordinating body called the Islamic Council of Europe. 2. British Orientalists were already more familiar with Islam and its culture than scholars from other countries in Europe. 3. The scholar who first introduced the Quran to Europe was the British scholar Robert Ketton by translating the Quran into Latin in the 12th century. 4. The scholar who first translated the Quran directly into English was also a British scholar named William Bedwell. 5. The scientist who introduced some of Aristotle's works in Arabic, because the original works were no longer known, was the British scholar named Adelard of Bath. 6. The first Arabic-English dictionary was compiled by the British scholar E.W. Lane. Considering the above historical factors, in April-June 1976, the World of Islam Festival was held in London with the aim of to place in perspective a civilization that is little known and understood by the Western world, and to show the West what a great contribution Islam has made to the cultures of the world. The initiator of the World of Islam Festival was the World of Islam Festival Trust, a cultural enthusiast body, chaired by a diplomat and Arabic language expert, Sir Harold Bealey. The festival committee successfully gathered Islamic cultural works from approximately 30 Muslim countries from approximately 250 museums, libraries, and private collections. This grand festival also introduced the results of religious thought, art, literature, architecture, music, and handicrafts produced by Muslims in various regions of the Islamic world. The Islamic World Festival also presents folk songs and folk music collected with tape recorders from Muslim countries in the Middle East, Africa, and Asia, including Indonesia and Malaysia. The festival also exhibits the richness of Islamic world literature and architecture from century to century. In addition to displaying exhibitions of Islamic cultural and civilization works, the Islamic World Festival Committee also holds academic programs in the form of public lectures and scientific seminars on Islam and its culture held at the universities of London, Oxford, Cambridge, Edinburgh, and other important cities. Phenomenal development. Historically, empirically, and academically, England has indeed had a close relationship with Islam, its civilization and culture. It is not surprising that today, Islam, as noted by Ratna Ajeng Tejumukti, is the fastest growing religion in England and is the second largest religion in the country, now led by Queen Elizabeth II. In 2011, the Muslim population in the UK reached 2,786,635 people, and this data shows 1.55 million people more than the results of the 2001 census. In 2014, the estimated number of British Muslims reached 3,114,992 people, and the largest part of them are immigrants from Pakistan and Bangladesh. The election of Sadiq Khan as Mayor of London is proof that British Muslims are also given the right to have access to political and government positions. Sadiq Khan is recorded as the first Muslim to serve as Mayor of London. He comes from the Labour Party, who managed to defeat the Conservative Party candidate Zach Goldsmith in the 2016 London mayoral election. The phenomenon of the very interesting and rapid development of Islam in England, even in other countries in Europe, has long been predicted by George Bernard Shaw, 1856 to 1950. In his prediction, G.B. Shaw said, "If any religion has the chance of ruling over England, nay Europe within then next 100 years, it can only be Islam. I have always held the religion of Muhammad in high estimation because of its wonderful vitality. It is the only religion which appears to me to possess the assimilating capacity to the changing phase, OG existence, which can make its appeal to every age. If there is a religion that gets the chance to rule England, even Europe in the next 100 years, then that religion is none other than Islam. I always place the religion brought by Muhammad in high esteem because of its amazing vitality. This religion is the only religion that, in my opinion, has the capacity to assimilate these changes of existence, which is able to provide its appeal to every age. More than 60 years have passed since G.B. Shaw in the 1950s made his predictions about the existence and development of Islam in England and in Europe in general. Underlining Shaw's visionary predictions, in the next 40 or 50 years, Islam as a religion of Rahmatan lil Alamin will shine brighter and brighter in the skies of England and Europe.